Saturday, March 15th, 3:06 p.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Big event coming into this week is the Federal Reserve scheduled to vote on interest rates. Yep, that's later this week. But right now, I'm going to show you the Magnificent 7 stocks. If you don't know, the S&P 500 has several sectors, several indexes inside of it. That's the prior video I just shared. The S&P 500 is a stock index. Inside the stock index, one of the other stock indexes, because there's several inside the S&P 500, one of them is the NASDAQ 100. And the NASDAQ 100, there are certain companies that are in leadership. There are certain companies that are heavily invested in more than many others. And those companies have a big impact because they're weighted average, huge percentage in the major stock indexes. They're called the Magnificent 7. We're going to look at them. May referred, remember, in the years past, it was called FANG. They were different companies, not all the same. But the big common factor is these are technology companies. So again, the S&P 500, the largest sector is technology, weighted to these companies. So comparing them to the stock index they're in is the NASDAQ 100. Right here, the NASDAQ 100. 5 years of chart history, each candle's a week. So the bottom left is the low for the past 5 years. And the top right is the high for the past 5 years. So when we look at these individual companies, you can see the performance. So again, the NASDAQ 100, top right, made a new low for the year. It also made a new high for this year. That being said, that it made a new high, all-time new high, as well as new low. When we look at the other companies, if they have not even made a new high this year compared to the prior years, then they're weaker than the stock index. If the companies I'm about to show you have not made a new low for the year, then they're performing better than the NASDAQ 100, as long as they took out the high of last year. So I choose the better stock indexes, but you go ahead and choose those individual stocks that are underperforming the market. Again, 5-year chart. Left is the stock symbol in white. Bottom left is the low for Apple the past 5 years. The top right, the high of Apple was last year. Last year. So it's underperforming the NASDAQ 100. Again, the NASDAQ 100 took out the high of last year and made a new high this year, where Apple hasn't. It's underperforming. Also, Apple made a new low for the year, just like the NASDAQ 100. Yep. Also, Apple, look at here, this blue line, it broke below, took out the swing low of last year. So I'm going to remove that blue line. I'm going to also notice right here, this big red horizontal line is midpoint of that big green candle. And it tested it. Again, the momentum's down. Big trouble. Let me adjust this to the new position. There we go. Just one of the Magnificent 7. Next, Amazon. Yep, look, the low right here. Very close. 2023 and 2020. Very close to each other's lows. This year, top right, Amazon this year made an all-time new high. Outstanding. All-time new high. It made also this past week, it made a new low for the year. So that's in common with the NASDAQ. This orange vertical line is when Amazon was added to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I mentioned several companies have been replaced on the Dow Jones, one of them being Amazon last year. Let's go on, look further. Google also made an all-time new high this year, and this past week made a new low for the year, similar to the NASDAQ. Here's a low for the bottom left. There's also a gap here on Google, where these orange lines are, has not been tested yet, Northfield. Meta. This year, all-time new high. This week, new low for the year. Microsoft. Last year was the all-time high. And this week made a new low for the year. So it's underperforming the NASDAQ 100, just like Apple. Nvidia. This year made the all-time new high. This week made a new low for the year. And you see the orange vertical line. It was added this year to the Dow Jones. Sorry, last year it was added to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it's trading below when it was added to the Dow Jones. So now you get it for a discount if you're interested in buying that as your investment. Tesla. History. Wow. Look at the bottom left, the low of the past 5 years. Last year made the all-time new high. So it's underperforming the NASDAQ 100. This week, all-time new low for the year. Yeah, it's underperforming the stock index. Again, I choose the winners. You go ahead and continue buying the losers. Huge sell-off, right? Yep. Last year, climax run-up and dump. FYI, Elon Musk and many institutions liquidated their shares, majority of them, if not all of them, way before this year. Yep, in the past, they did that. They liquidated them, took that capital out, and reinvested in other places. So don't feel sorry for them. They're not losing here, many of them. No, they sold to dumb money before. Smart money was selling last year. And I mentioned here the NASDAQ 100. And another one, it's not part of the Magnificent Seven, but it's still very popular for investors. Netflix. This year made the all-time new high. And notice the low of this year was at the beginning. So it's performing better than several of the Magnificent Seven stocks. And think about it. If the economy is slowing down, if people are either earning less income or still the same, and if inflation's continuing on, where will they cut back on? What luxuries will they cut back on? Maybe subscriptions to Netflix. Well, if Netflix sees subscriptions decline, maybe they'll raise the price. So the people that are staying are going to pay more money to offset the difference in the revenue losing. Thank you as always. Spend a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.